If you want to learn how to make 20K a month in profits by selling products on Amazon, this is the video for you. I've been selling on Amazon for 6 years now, traveling the world now while working on my computer, currently in Marbella, Spain for the holidays. And I want to tell you exactly step by step in this video how you can get started this year and how it's not too late. In fact, it's probably the best time ever because more and more people are shopping online all over the world. Even me being in Spain right now, I'm seeing the opportunities of Amazon in Europe. And all it takes is to learn the methodology of how Amazon works so you can then use it in other countries, so you can then use it in the US and Canada and then expand into other countries. I mean, this is still such a big opportunity, and I want to show you exactly what methodology I think you should get started with to get selling in as fast as 30 days. I don't know if you know this, but 50% of all e-commerce sales that happen literally online is through Amazon. And then 60% of all of the sales that happen on Amazon are by third-party sellers, people just like you and I. Third-party sellers like you and I have generated Amazon over $117 billion in 2022. All you want to do is create $1 million business, which is about $80,000 a month in sales, which then gives you that $20,000 a month in profit. That is 0.0001% of that $117 billion. I mean, it is absolutely still doable, and you're asking for a tiny slice of that. Why else choose selling on Amazon? Well, flexibility is number one. I love being able to travel and be anywhere around the world. I'm here in Spain now for the last 2 weeks. I'm going to be here for the next month and a half with my dad over the holidays. And I was in Mexico before this for 2 months. So I'm constantly traveling, seeing the world, and doing things that I want to do. Outside of that, there's no ceiling on what you can accomplish. The more work you put in, the more you're going to get out of it. So it's a business that can grow with your cravings and your hard work. This is also a lifelong skill to have. This is something that you're going to learn and then going to pay dividends down the line because more and more people are going online. More and more countries are becoming more Amazon reliant. More and more people are ordering products off Amazon, and you can be the seller of those products. Once you've mastered this skill, you're going to create financial confidence for yourself to make sure to never have to worry about money again because you're learning a high level skill. You're learning something that's online, something that a lot of people don't know how to do. And then outside of that, you're also supporting local businesses. That's something I want to talk about here. It's something that I pioneered about 1.5 years ago that will help you make money, but also help support local businesses. All of this is meanwhile without having to build a brand from scratch. We don't have to order products from China and have to deal with products import, export, and overseas and all of that. We don't run any ads, meaning zero marketing costs. We're simply meeting the demand by looking and analyzing at products that are already doing well and just simply offering those at retail. We are reselling big brand products. But at the same time, we're not calling hundreds of suppliers. We're not going to hear hundreds of no's. That is an old methodology for people who don't really understand the process now with supporting the local businesses. So this 2025 strategy is going to be a bit of a game changer. Okay, and this is also not drop shipping. You might have heard about drop shipping and how it might be friendlier, but that usually puts the customers into a low quality, low customer service mindset. We're not doing any of that. What we're going to be doing is called the AMW Formula. This is a brand new formula that I put together and that I think that you should take advantage of. There are about 4 different models on Amazon, starting from retail arbitrage, where you're reselling products by first buying them, identifying them in store. You have to physically go into the store and buy them. Then you're only kind of reliant on everything that is on the shelf right there and then. Right? Then we have online arbitrage, which is more of a scalable version of the arbitrage of like retail, but instead of going physically into the stores, you are buying them online. We're looking at specific store websites using coupons, using, Rakuten, which is a cashback tool, and just ultimately looking to buy low and sell high from retail store to another retail store. Okay? Then we get into mom and pop. That is when things get really interesting because we're able to buy from physical stores around us that have sources to the suppliers, and we can get them at a cheaper price in bulk, but get them directly from a retail store that is less of a chain. It's more of a mom and pop. That's why it's called mom and pop arbitrage. Then we go into wholesale, where we then buy products essentially from wholesalers and distributors. This is when things get really scalable, right? Then we also have private label, which is buying products from China, creating our own brand, having to do marketing, packaging, import, export, and so on. Okay, these are all the models currently on Amazon that are the most fruitful. Now let's talk about the difficulty of the models. From 2020 to about 2023, I would say forget arbitrage. It's too much time wasted physically going to the store, having to do the research yourself. It's not scalable. It's not a real business. I would say go straight into wholesale. And then about a year or two later, you can consider private label, as you just be more prepared. You understand how Amazon works. You're willing to take more risks, spend more money, develop more products. I've realized that suppliers are saying no much, much more to new resellers. They're saying no to Amazon sellers, and they're requiring you to have a brick and mortar store to actually open up an account with them so you can even be eligible to buy products from them. It was taking some of my students months before they found something profitable, before they found a good supplier to work with and actually have the business run, right? So the question is, how could I get my students into wholesale much easier and faster, right? I've been doing it for 6 years, so it was a little easier back then in terms of wholesalers wanting to work with us, but now wholesalers are skeptical. So let me tell you a story, because it started off by me going to Vancouver in a small quiet plaza, finding a small supplement store that was not a chain. It was a small mom and pop shop. And I went inside and I went to go look for the supplements I needed. And I started to realize hey, a lot of these brands that are on the shelves here, I've seen before. Not only have I seen it at the big stores like CVS or Shoppers Drug Mart, but I've seen them online as well on Amazon. And so I started to speak with the owner and ask them, how their business was, how long they've been around for, and essentially if they're happy with the results of the store. And I realized that they weren't. They had purchased the store simply for immigration purposes, to just be able to be in the country. And they knew nothing about marketing or selling, and they were just kind of hoping that the store would run itself. They were mistaken, because they told me that they were having one customer an hour come in and buy a couple things off the shelf, right? And that's when I started to realize the opportunity, because they have the connections to the authorized distributors. They have the connections to real wholesalers that give them these products at a wholesale value. They just don't have the traffic. And me being an Amazon expert, I can help them with that. If we can work together for me to buy the product at a good, profitable price, identify the opportunities on Amazon, and then simply move volume through Amazon, they're going to make a cut. I'm going to make a cut. It's a win-win situation. And that's exactly how it started. I went into the store with my computer, looked at some of the brands, took photos, and started to use my tools that I use to analyze and figure out which brands we can start selling. Now I've worked with them for over a year, and I've done over $30,000 in orders through them by selling products on Amazon Canada. And I say Amazon Canada because even though I'm a Canadian, I started selling in the US initially, and I wanted to always get back into the Canadian market as well. And this was a great way for me to expand into the Canadian market very easily, because I didn't have to go to trade shows. I didn't have to go meet suppliers. I simply found a store that already had the connections, and I found a way to partner with them. Now, again, why did I want to do this? Well, Amazon FBA wholesale has become saturated because there are too many short-minded sellers who are looking for huge opportunities, huge ROIs, and they're just looking to just go and find suppliers and call these suppliers and tell them hey, I want to work with you, and then never actually buy anything. Therefore, suppliers have become way more skeptical, creating way more barriers and walls to unprofessional sellers who waste their time. So one of the biggest requirements now from these wholesalers is that you have a brick and mortar store. And so that's why this goes hand in hand with that, because we're working with these brick and mortar stores that have the capabilities, have the connections, and make it way easier for us. You might also wonder, why did they want to do this? Why do brick and mortar stores want to work with us? Well, if they're not doing the volume that they want to be doing, this is a great way for them to make quick money on the side by selling in bulk and taking a little commission in the middle. The more they also buy from their suppliers, the better relationships they will build with their existing suppliers, because they're moving volume, their suppliers are happy, it's a win-win. They can also make that fast money, like I said, in between in that commission there that they're not used to, right? If they can do a $2,000, $3,000 deal with you and make a little 4% cut in between, that's a huge profit by simply just brokering a deal rather than waiting for that one customer an hour and having it sell very slowly. And this is the method that I called mom and pop arbitrage. I've created it myself, I've done it myself, and now I'm recommending it to you for 2025. If you are brand new to the game, this is a great way for you to get started, and I want you to be able to take these scenarios and these situations to really hack the program here. You're hacking how you can buy and get access to big brand products that you can simply resell on Amazon. The perks of this are huge because there are mom and pops everywhere, right? There are probably some stores that you're already thinking about that are in your neighborhood that you can go and speak to and try and take advantage of, right? All you have to do is become an Amazon expert, and all you got to do is go into these stores and create that partnership. Speak with the owners, speak with them, figure out how they can trust you a little bit just to get started. And I'll bet you that as soon as you place a couple orders, they will trust you. They will want to do more deals. They're going to start calling you, asking to see if you can do more business and sell more products, right? Another thing is that you're the Amazon expert. They're not. Meaning you might just go in there and might be worried that they might do this on their own, but they know nothing about Amazon. They don't know how to do it. They don't know what listings they can go on. They know nothing. So you have to come across as the expert and as the person who is going to do most of the work, right? And like I said, once you build that trust with them, you can actually even use their brick and mortar store to open up new accounts with wholesalers, because now they trust you, now you can work with them, and now you can be let's say a representative of that brick and mortar store, and you can use that store to your own advantage to open up new accounts with actual wholesalers that can give you those accounts by wholesale. You know what I mean? Like you have a brick and mortar store now under your belt. So this was the methodology. That's the AMW formula that you have to get started with in 2025. A standing for online arbitrage, M standing for mom and pop arbitrage, and then ultimately W is wholesale. So taking these stepping stones is by you getting into this world. Now the question is, how do you get to 20K a month in profits, right? So you have to use this methodology by getting your feet wet and taking stepping stones. I'm a huge believer in taking stepping stones and actually getting quick wins so you can be motivated to continue, but also do the things that make you the money and that moves the needle. With online arbitrage, I can promise you that you can start selling in 30 days because me and my team have leads that we put together and we give them out to people. We do about 3 leads a day on online arbitrage, and we send them to people who are in our program, but also people who are just subscribed to the list, whatever the case may be. OA is a great starting point with 3 leads a day at 30% minimum ROI on every product that gets sent to you. And that's how you can get started in 30 days. And that's why it's such a strong and great opportunity. It's all virtual on your computer. You don't have to physically go into any stores and deal with that, right? After the 30 days, maybe even 45 days, that's when you then want to move to mom and pop. You want to find the winners in online arbitrage and then take those winners to the next level by finding mom and pop stores around you to be able to take those products to the next level. Instead of buying 10 units, you're then buying 100 units and really scaling the operation. Then you do about a month or two of mom and pop, and if you feel like you're ready, you feel like you've earned the trust of those mom and pop stores, you can then go approach wholesalers and use the brick and mortar store as your advantage to open up accounts with wholesalers, and they're going to have no issue opening these accounts with you because you have the brick and mortar, you have a track record, and it can be much, much easier to get into the business of retail and wholesale with Amazon once you've done these stepping stones and quick wins to be able to really get to wholesale. Now, a few truths. Obviously, you have to be committed to make this business come to life. Not everything is handed to you. Not everything is easy. Not everything is done for you. You have to be motivated to do this. You have to work hard. You have to train. You have to understand that this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Of course, I've mapped it out as best as possible here, especially for 2025, but still, you still have to put in the work. You still have to believe that the process is going to work, and you have to put in the effort, and the mindset needs to change as well. So just keep that in mind, okay? Obviously, me, anyone, we can teach you the steps, every little part of it, right? And that can build you your foundation, no problem. You're learning from people who are living the lives that you want to live. They're doing the things that you want to do. But you have to understand that to build a real business, you can only learn so much, and you have to then take action, take a bit of risk, and understand that you can't also be dependent on people like myself or anyone else out there making content. You have to understand that you have to become the Amazon expert, meaning you got to learn from all sorts of information, but learn from the people that are doing the things that you want to do. Okay, that's super important. And then if you can do all that, you will have a skill for life, right? Which is the most valuable thing here, is that you're building a new skill for life, and you're understanding that more and more people are spending time online. So it's a skill that is only going to become more and more important. I know that people have been hired by brands and agencies just because they have learned this skill, even if they realize that the business is too tough or too lonely or too time consuming. Just understanding this skill and knowing it, you can get hired by brands and agencies who are Amazon focused, who are trying to get on Amazon, no problem. So think about it like that as well. I hope that this video made sense so far. I hope you got some value from this new methodology that I'm implementing, that I'm recommending in 2025, because this is something that is a great way for you to just get into the world and get quick wins and be able to take stepping stones to building that business that you've always wanted to do. If you're interested in learning more and into really understanding the AMW methodology and working with me and my team, go to the link right here in the description and book a time with me and my team to see if it's a good fit for you to work with me directly or with my team, whatever the case may be. I'm sure there'll be some sort of a scenario where I can help you get ahead. Okay, if you can book a time, let's do it. Let's chat. Let's see if it's a good thing. If not, definitely check out the YouTube channel for more content like this. Also posting more videos about my travels, so definitely watch that as I'm building my own business from 100K a month to 200K a month in revenue. I want to show you the step-by-steps I'm taking, who I'm hiring, what systems I'm building. But of course, if you're brand new to this, you may need more of the foundation. And so you will get more of that by working with me directly and my team. So again, book a time with me and my team in the description, and I hope to talk to you soon.